Okay, hello again. Okay, so now I want to tell you what the winning strategy is and then go over it. So here's the winning strategy. I'm going to write it and it's going to be leave. It's very simple. And you might have figured this out. Leave your opponent. Well, of course, you want to leave them with three because we've shown that if you only have three left, there's no way that if it's your turn, you can win. So you want to leave your opponent with three. That's your ultimate goal. Sometimes that's all you can do. But six will work too, or nine. So the idea is that if you control the board, make sure you leave your opponent with nine, six, or three. That's the winning strategy. This is how you win. And what I want to do is demonstrate that. And then with a game or two, then I'm going to go over and do some analysis. And we're also going to look at the transcript from the last, how you win. You leave your opponent with three, six, or nine. Okay, so let's play a game. Oops, forgot to go there. Okay, good. Sorry, in this environment, things can take long. So we're going to play with the computer. And you're going to go first. And we're going to start. Okay, so there's 10 here. So I'm going to take away one for starters. Yep, that's my move. Now, the opponent has 8, so I need to take 2 away to get them to 6. Okay, they're at 6. And then they took 1, and now they're at 5, and I need to take 2 more to get them at 3. And they can't win. They took 2 that one. I just take that last one and win. Okay. So again, that's a simple way to do it. Make sure you leave your opponent with 3, 6, or 9. And so the way to do that is to start, if you go first, just take one off. And you will always win if you're careful. Just take one at the start. Okay, so now I want to use some math to analyze this. I think it's important to do that because I think it demonstrates a good way of thinking. Okay, but so that's what we're going to do next. So that's the key. So what I'm going to do is have to set up screen sharing with my other device in order to make that work. But just keep that in mind. Okay, so we're going to stop the share. And now I'm going to share. Bear with me while I get this set up. My iPad. Good. Okay. Okay. So here I'm going to use what's called a tree to show you what happens. So here's what happens: that you moved, so you leave computer with 3. Oops, sorry. Let me take that away. So I leave the computer with 3. So I'm going to circle that 3. The computer has 2 choices. It can take 1 or it can take 2. So that's what the computer does. Now, if it takes 1, there's 2 left. For me, I don't know, this device is flaky. And if the computer takes 2, there's 1 left for me. Okay, so me, I take 2. I win. Over here, I take 1. And then I win. Now notice this is called a tree structure. I'm outlining what the situation is, and I'm going through each possibility, and then following the the logic of it. This is called a decision tree, and it's an important technique. And it's something that people use in a lot of different situations, not just math. I mean, not just game strategies, but it's useful in game strategies. Okay, so again, remember I said the 3 rules were to leave with 3, 6, or 9. If I leave the computer with 3, I win. I think you're convinced of that. Okay, so let's go down 1, and I leave the computer with 6, and I'm going to go through that same the same decision tree. So the computer, again, it has 2 choices. It can take 1, and then there's 5 left for me, or it can take 2, and there's 4 left. Oops. Now, notice that now I have 2 choices. I can take 1, and there's 4 left, or I can take 2, and there's 3 left. Same thing over here. I can take 1, and there's 3 left, and I can take 2, and there's 2 left. Okay, well, let's go through this. Here, I win. If I leave the computer with 3, I win. I win on this one. Right here, I lose because the computer can take 2. It's the computer's turn, they take 2, and there's 0 left. I lose. This one, it's the same idea. The computer can take 1, and then there's 3 for me, and I lose. Again, it's the decision tree. Here, I outline both possibilities, and I just follow what happens. So again, this is a technique that is really useful anytime you're in a situation where there's just 2 possible choices, something binary. So again, it's a good technique to have if you take, if you're applying like to law school or something like that. They give you logic problems, and you're supposed to eliminate possibilities and figure out the right way to move. These techniques are really super helpful. Okay. So I want to do notice here the other thing too is that the tree for 6, it ends up really relying on the tree for 3. We've already established here what happens with the tree for 3. So if we get to 3 over here, we know what's going to happen, that I'm going to win. And then notice that if I blow that opportunity and leave the computer with 4 or 2, the computer is going to win. So I have to stick to the strategy, 3-6-9 strategy. Okay, so the next one I'm going to do is I'm going to do the decision tree for 9, and I'm only going to take it until we get to 6 because we already know what happens when we get to 6. So I leave the computer with 9, and then again I can take 1. I'm sorry, the computer can take 1 or 2. Here there's 8 left for the computer. For me, I'm sorry. And then here there's 7 left. Now, if I stick to the strategy, I win. If I deviate from the strategy, I'm going to assume the computer or my other player knows what they're doing and I'll lose. So what do I do here? What do I do here to ensure my moves? It's my moves. When I have 8, how many do I take? When I have 7, how many do I take? Just think about it for a minute. Answer it for yourself. Hit pause if you want, and then come back and then we'll figure it out. Okay, so me, if there's 8 left, 3-6-9 rule, I take 2. And there's 6 left for the computer. And we already saw what happens in that case is that I win. Over here, there's 7, so I take 1. And then there's 6 left for the computer. Again, I win. So anyway, here, this is probably going to do that. Did that one wrong. This is the way I want to do it. I'm circling how many are left. So anyway, if there were 12 then you can guess, it's probably going to be a 3, 6, 9, 12. I'm going to give you a practice problem where there's 13. And so you're going to need to figure out what you need to do to win. Okay. Now, these winning strategies are super important. In class, we're going to talk about something called Fibonacci NIM. And it's the same game, but the rules are more flexible about how many you can take. And it's going to turn out that the winning strategy involves the Fibonacci numbers, which I think is pretty cool. Okay, so I want to go back one more thing, just sort of the last thing to do, and to go back and look at, here's the transcript from what we did in class with NIM. I mean, what I did in the last video with NIM. Notice here the computer leaves me with 3, I lose. Sorry, leaves me with 6, then it leaves me with 3, I lose. Now this one, the game that I won, I left the computer with 6. And so I can show you I can do that. Then I left the computer with 3, I won. Now this one, I had the winning strategy in my grasp, but the computer took 7, but instead of taking 1, I made a wrong move. And so that's what cost me. That allowed the computer to get to 3. So anyway, have some fun. And that's what I got for this video. So see you with the next video.